Oh, the upcoming election. It's already a fait accompli, right? So there's no question about what the outcome is going to be. I think the only, since there's no main opposition party, CNRP, in the ballot, we know what the desired outcome is, which is that the Cambodian People's Party will overwhelmingly take the vote. However, the question is that a legitimate election in the sense of, well, were you allowing a party that previously in 2013 won 44.46% of the popular vote, and in the commune election of 2017 won 43.86% of the vote, to not participate in an electoral process? That's like saying half of the people have no voice. Well, the legitimacy of a competitive process is that you would allow the parties that are most popular to compete against each other, not one party that is obviously has popularity, the Cambodian People's Party, and 20 parties that are virtually unknown.
Okay.
Or 19 parties, sorry. Well, the only positive outcome of the election would be to cause, I think, in the international community a reaction as to the illegitimacy of the election itself, which would then trigger sanctions or other punishment for those who are engaged in undermining Cambodian democracy. So the negative outcome is simply that you have a wasted opportunity to count the people's will, and instead you're going to force them to go vote and put their finger in ink and say, if you don't put your finger in the ink and prove to us that you voted, that you somehow didn't do your civic duty, which I think is very strange, given that all through the previous elections the impetus was to do voter suppression and prevent people from voting who you suspected might not support the ruling party. So, the negative consequence of this is wasted resources, wasted opportunity, wasted democratic channels for being able to voice your opinion as a citizen of Cambodia, and instead being turned into a false choice of 20 parties, of which 19 are virtually unknown. I don't expect that there would be that, because already the circumstances of the country are completely different. There isn't an opposition leader who is neither out of the country nor out of jail able to lead that kind of movement where people would show up in the streets and protest or appear at the airport, unless that event were triggered by the return of said opposition figure. I think that if the opposition leader were allowed to exit prison or to return to Cambodia, in the case of Sam Rainsy, then there might be an opening for something to be shown publicly, but I doubt that will happen. One would certainly hope that after the elections things could ease up, but I don't know why they would necessarily, frankly. The truth is that there's a kind of a choice that's being made to secure the next generation of leadership in Cambodia based on typically family connections and so on. Until that happens, I think you have a ruling party and a prime minister who is being very careful about not taking chances that might jeopardize that. I think it's going to get it from Singapore. They're sending observers. It's going to get it from Myanmar. They're sending observers, right? So I don't think, look, Cambodia's desire to be legitimate is driven in large part by a history of being considered illegitimate in so many ways, right? During the 1980s, not having its seat at the UN, all these problems that Cambodia has had. But I think that eventually it craves acceptance, right? If the more, look, why does Cambodia want a UN Security Council seat? Why does Cambodia want a ECOSOC seat, Economic and Social Council seat? It wants that acceptance, and so the less acceptance is given to Cambodia, the more they're going to want to fight for it or demand it. So it's going to be very difficult going forward.